Hi everyone, thanks for joining. I wanted to make this quick vid. Guys, have you ever heard of Wacky Package cards? These are just two great guys. These are unbelievable. Because these a lot of people are getting hip to how evil all these private corporations really are. And it's not Mrs. So-called Fields making these cookies, it's all these freaking evil entities that put all kind of chemicals and nasties and all that. And these cards are amazing. It's like the best parody ever. And I was looking up garbage pail kids just to show how they want us all to be garbage pail kids and all that. And, the creepy photos. So I'll do a whole separate vid. But these came up and I'm like, these are a gold mine. Because like in the movie They Live, in the John Carpenter movie, if anyone's awake to that, it's like when you become spiritually awakened and the Most High opens your eyes, this is literally how you look at things. Like everyone else will be like, oh, Mrs. Fields, cookies, whatever, when back in the day people used to cook, and bake at home. I love baking and making my own stuff because a lot of the stuff out there is so sketchy, right? And good luck even trying to get real ingredients nowadays just to even make said recipes. But people really rely on these brands thinking it's the same old lady or whoever. So this one's called Mrs. Fiends. Terrifying cookies, guys. Yeah, it's gonna come and bite you, right? You think you're biting into it, but it's biting into you. Semi-scary hair raisin. And I love on the side, too, on the left, if you can see, tasty finger food. And you're like, what is really, isn't that just crazy? So I just thought there's so many, and it's like I guess they got like censored and all that stuff. Like, let me just give you a little backstory, because the company's Tops, Tops who made the chewing gum, the candy, based in New York City, of course, the Big Apple, they got all the crazy ideas. Tops is best known as a leading producer of American football, baseball, basketball, ice hockey, soccer, and other sports and non-sports themed trading cards. So I'm sure, more savvy people probably heard of this. So this was a first for me, and I just thought it was so interesting. Wacky Packages are a series of humorous trading cards featuring parodies of consumer products, right? Because it's all a trick bag out there. And this is what, if they were honest, these are the cards and these are the statements that the products should be saying, right? If people had the spiritual discernment up. The cards were produced by Tops beginning in 1967, first in die cut, then in sticker format. There were 16 series produced between 1973 and 1977, with some reprints and several new series released up to the present day. So I'm sure there's so many out there. I'm just going to show a couple because just a couple is so interesting. At the height of their popularity from 1973 to 1975, Wacky Packages outsold Tops baseball cards when they were by far the most sold trading card items in the United States. They were that popular. And they're going to make a comeback, guys. I'm bringing it back to the forefront. These are great. Relying on the talents of such cartoonists and comics artists as Kim Deitch, George Evans, Drew Friedman, Bill Griffith. Let me see his picture better. Bill Griffith, Jay Lynch, Norman Saunders, Art Spiegelman, Bob Stewart, and Tom Sutton. The cards spoofed well-known brands and packaging. That's great. Still says, the first releases were in the 1960s, and, a couple of them, it said that, weren't, they didn't allow them, so they were also really censored too. So they were definitely one of the trailblazers, guys, so don't feel bad if you're getting censored, because this is too funny. First releases. The very first Wacky Packages series was produced in 1967 and featured 44 die-cut cards that were made to be punched out, licked on the back, and stuck to surfaces. This series featured parodies created by Art Spiegelman and primarily painted by Norm Saunders. 2 of the cards, Cracked Animals and Rats Crackers, were pulled from production after the initial run. Moron Salt was pulled later and replaced by Jolly Mean Giant, which was also pulled soon after that. In all, 14 of the 44 cards were pulled from the series, all of them due to cease and desist letters sent to Topps by the companies that at the time owned the products being parodied. This series was followed by a somewhat different series called Wacky Ads in 1969, featuring parodies and roughs by J. Lynch and Kim Deitch, with finished paintings by Tom Sutton. 30 of the 36 3-inch by 5-inch cards were designed to look like miniature billboards with a die cut around the parodied product, so it could be punched out of the horizontal billboard seam, then also be licked on the back and stuck to surfaces. There were 2 different printings of the ads. The first with long perforations of the stickers, die cuts, and the second with short perforations. Card number 25, Good and Empty, was pulled from the first printing and never replaced after Leaf Brands, which then owned the parodied product, Good and Plenty, sued Topps. At least 2 extra ads. Mixwell Hearst Coffee, which sounds like Maxwell House. I would watch out, guys. That's crazy. I was just telling people, you do not even want to, especially with the whole, Ghislaine Maxwell fiasco. Do you really even trust that family? And I keep telling people, good high quality coffee is expensive. People clown me for my espresso habit because it's each one is supposed to be a bit expensive. A pound of that stuff is like gold. Yes, it's a small fortune, whatever, but it's one of those things. That's what I like. Some people blow their money at all these different memberships at all these places they never use, That's my little luxury, is having real good lattes and espressos. There's some things you shouldn't chins on. So you got this Mixwell, just to show you, wow. Hearse, which when you think of a hearse, what do you think of? Death, something dead. And Marlboro cigarettes are now known to have been finished, but were never released as actual cards. Now I want that. I'm going to have to print this out just to show that it actually exists. This is crazy because some of the cards, you can already tell who they're talking about. Obviously, do you need to know who this is about? But it's Captain Crud, Wacky Packages, too funny. So just in case you're looking at this on your phone, some of these are just better than some comic book, and how many kids in the 80s that they pushed this on us, and with all the information on Red 40 and all the dyes showing connections to neurological disorders and stuff. Look at the rise in delinquency in children and look at their diet. Diet is such a critical role. So these cards can actually wake this garbage pail kid society up, hopefully, to how, kooky we've all become, right? Been drinking the Kool-Aid. You got the little baby. I mean, some of these are very, very deep. It's almost like the Illuminati card game when you think about it. So you got the Kokum Pebbles. I wonder what they say, because sometimes they say like the craziest things on it. Instead of, post its best, sweetened naturally and artificial chocolate, it's the usual stuff that it says. That one isn't too bad. Some are really obvious. I mean, I didn't even realize how much it is. This one's like, why change diapers when you can pay someone else to do it? Pampered, 100% cashmere. Oh, it's too crazy. I think this one's TS14, the number of this card. Oh boy, I didn't even see that one before. You see that? So, totally weird. Let's see what else we got. Stupid pretzel. People bought those. Twisted pretzels for twisted people. That's pretty interesting. It's not coming up too clear, guys. I don't know why. Some of them don't come up. Is that for Canada Dry? What does it say about that? Can that's dry. Like, the more you drink it, the more thirsty you get. Thirsty since 1904. I love that. What does that say? Something free? I can't see. That's why I try to bring it up. I'm trying to think of the ones that I've seen before. What does a Gator mean? Like, who knows what's in Gatorade, guys? I think of the movie Idiocracy, because they're all, like, clowning water, but they wanted to drink, like, neon juice and, solutions or whatever. And you see people with these bottles, and it's, like, liquid candy and God knows what. So, I mean, they're even but it's funny because you know what companies they're trying to say, right? I'm trying to, show ones that are familiar. I mean, it's crazy. And people think, oh, they just, the IG Farben. I keep telling people, cosmetic industry, food regulation, like all of this stuff is so tied back to Germany and the Third Reich and the different things that they were doing over there. And that a lot of these products and the ingredients, that when you look on the label on these ingredients and it's like a 20-letter word that you've never heard of, only somebody who took chemistry or some type of chemistry professor would know. Those chemicals are depleted chemicals from all the wars. So instead of paying big bucks to properly dispose of them or however that's done, they've turned them into the products that we see today, and they sell it to us, pretty messed up. So you got your frosted snakes, guys. They're gross. Yeah, the frosted flakes, the so-called in our fake dream reality on the TV, on the Black Mirror. They try to tell you, Tony comes out and tries to tell you, they're great, it's like, but if he was honest, the honest one would say they're gross, right? Because, they give you these cardboard flakes. Who knows what kind of stuff they peppered onto there. And look, it says a phony. Just look at that. Smellogs. Yeah, Kellogg's, very corrupt corporation. But I guess all you gotta do is make like a cartoon for people on the box, right? With the smiling whatever, and they go for it. It's, to what end, really? But these cards really need to come back in vogue, guys. These are awesome. That one right there was really good. Lipton, we all know, is trash. And they have different soups and all that. If you drink this hot soup, you'll get your lip torn. See? molten lava. Look, 8 deadly servings. Oh, that's a good one, guys. Number 5 of 66. Wow. Wow. And I was trying to tell people too, I have a Dia Dash eBay store. If you're watching me on BIT CHUTE, I'll put a link below, that I sold my own taco seasoning with actual real spices, because you can't even buy taco seasoning or any kind of seasoning if you buy anything in a box and they got those seasonings, all chemicals. And you got that new movie out, guys. Have you seen the trailer? Which I'm going to have to do another vid on that topic about elves. They're not as nice as you think, guys. Because, you know, in the fake reality, they got the Keebler elves and this elf, and they're all so helpful. They all want to help you, and they're so nice, right? Well, when you put your Roddy Piper glasses on, in the movie They Live, once you put your spiritual glasses on and your thinking cap, you will see that in a lot of folklore, which a lot of the legends are true, the folklore and all that, they hide it behind that stuff. They actually mess people up and do bad things. They can be very mischievous, you know, not saying they're all like that. They say fairies can be nice, whatever. But the elves per se, the elves, you know, so, yeah, just be careful. You know, it says when gnomes get hungry. Toadstool and rice cereal. Rice creepies. Karloffs. That sounds German. What does the left say? Looks like a witch on the left, huh? One bowl, and you'll agree they're a right creepy treat. See that to the left, guys? And what is that, like weird magic mushrooms and stuff? So yeah, and what is that, a human hand coming out? Do you see inside the bowl? Guys, what an esoteric picture. This was like ahead of its time, right? And then you got the top, you got like the toxic plants, and I was showing in prior vids. That's why I get censored so much. It's just so deep, because they use like ancient Indian sources, like the Rasa Shastra Indian texts, that gave them knowledge of using toxic plants. This is all knowledge from the forbidden tree of good and evil, right? The tree of knowledge, and we deal with the tree of, you know, we deal with the tree of life here. It's all about the tree of life and the God of life. And so they learned how to use poppy, right? The poppy plants, like in the movie, what is it? The Wizard of Oz. You know, Dorothy and those pictures with the poppies, and then I did the connection to how that is the base ingredient. No different than heroin and everything else, right? To pain medications, including hydrocodone, oxy, codeine, you name it. All right, when you look up those drugs, you will find the flowering plant is that. And I got these new millennials, you know, thinking they're so smart, thinking that to be holistic, that, you know, naturopaths are taking mushrooms. We don't deal with mushrooms. That's a fungus. Fungus can be really bad for you, and your body can be overwrought with that and bacteria. We don't use fungus. I don't even eat mushrooms in any meals. I just had an aversion to that. And anytime you see these creepy pictures, they love pushing those damn mushrooms. So what else do we got? Yeah, this is what's going to happen to you if you eat this stuff. I know how they called it life. Isn't that weird? Life after. That's what's going to happen to you. You're going to literally die, guys. If you. So this is like so, I mean, there's a lot out there, but I love how we can see. Quaking. Start eternity right with life after. Lightly sweetened whole pine boxes with dirt. You know how there's a lot of videos people are showing all like the iron, the metallic shavings that are in these cereals, guys? Look up those videos. They crush the bag and they put it in a solution. They run a magnet through it, and so it's not the natural organic iron, you know, folic acid that you thought it was, you know, enriched with. So they're onto something. They're very truthful. That's why I can see why they were censored. You know, they should have countered with their cease and desist orders. That the best defense for that is that they're saying the truth. It's plain and true. Like, the burden is on the other people to act like, show that it isn't like that. I mean, all you gotta do is read the labels and see all the chemicals they give people. Like, what do people need? Look at the top of Captain Crunch. It says Queasy. Cereal that's gone down with the ship. Part of a complete breakfast. We've seen that one. Oh, Frosted Snakes, y'all. Frosted Snakes. Man, there's so many. I could just spend like hours. I know I can't be here too long, but I was trying to find some of the ones I found yesterday. We'll see if they come up. But yeah, guys, and these are going for big bucks. They're not cheap. So I guess they were produced around the same time as the Garbage Pail Kids. So remember, I used to eat this shit. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. A Lost for the Lost Generation. And I like how they turn it to the side so you can see the side. The food pyramid, all Egyptian, very esoteric. Going back to, the gods of Egypt and all their forbidden knowledge. And here we deal with the God of the Hebrews. And if you know anything with the Old Testament, Moses was contending with Pharaoh. And did Egypt stand against the Most High? Did he stand against Moses? Didn't we remember all the plagues that was delivered upon Egypt for all their sins, right? Deep stuff. And, history is a record on repeat. Everyone is repeating the same mistakes. And I keep showing you this. So it's like on Judgment Day, people can't say they didn't see it. It says, eat like an Egyptian. Yep. Because they eat like whatever, right, guys? And the Hebrews followed, the dietary laws in the book of Leviticus. Enlarged to show treasure. Cereal for mummies. Yeah, for what? Dead people? You don't even know, because it's like all dried up, whatever, puffs. It could be anything, like literally. And they can hide like the creepiest stuff under like all these scientific terms, and nobody would be the wiser. And they are not the wiser, but they keep trying to tell you what it is, but, guaranteed to dehydrate. I know, everyone gets so darn thirsty with these things, and peanuts are, like, not the best for you, because they say it's not a real nut, right? But, you got a lot of people who love them. Let me go down more. I'm not going to make this long. I can always do a part 2, because it, we all heard of Tang, but this one's Fang. Buy it by the... Oh, God. What is this? Like dry DNA? We don't even know what the hell's in there. Because again, a lot of these records go back to the Far East, in all these Asian dynasties. So really deep. Type A and Type O. Fang. Breakfast drink for vampires. And this generation is turning into a generation of devils. Have you not noticed that? So, I mean, they say nutrition has a lot to do with it, and that even like schizophrenia and a lot of these mental disorders, a lot of them can be mitigated with, with niacin supplementation, nutrition, ortho, molecular medicine. And of course, that's why the food supply is always being attacked and why they make it so hard to grow your own food, right? So crummy peanut butter. I keep telling people I'm going to have to do a vid just on peanut butter because it's so bad, so funny. So I'm definitely going to use this card one more time in another vid pertaining to peanut butter. Crummy peanut butter made from old peanut shells. Peanuts are expensive. Well, there you go. Now that's why it's so different than the prior ones that people used to complain about. Because they would say, oh, it would separate the oil and this and that. Oh, this is crazy. I just watched a weird horror short film that was showing like these insectoids were like the ones in power. And it was really weird that now this is coming up. The Pest. Pancake and waffle mix. Try some with honeydew syrup. Enough to feed an army of ants. That's so weird. This is another one I'm going to have to remember. Provides a good source of... I'm not sure what that says. Which... march some home today. Too funny, guys. Too funny. Frodo's, that looks familiar. Given your hunger impossible to resist. I know, look at his eyes all cross-eyed. That's how you're gonna look, guys. You eat enough of this stuff. Because all the dyes and all that, it's not real food. They're literally turning this generation. Oh, this is gonna be funny. Let's see, undead berries. Oh, I love this one. Too funny. 3 racketeers, all for one and none for you. Oh, wow. You've got a problem with that? That's weird. What is the special K? Undead berries. Expiration date yesterday. And that's the thing too. A lot of these foods are like, they change the dates. They play a lot of games, guys. This is just too funny. The taste haunts you. And now Kellogg's went, all the different variations of Kellogg's. Now it's kill-offs. They're trying to kill off. Remember the Georgia Guidestones, folks. They have that in stone in Georgia. Literally in stone what they want to do with the population. So if you think you can trust these corporations and not someone next door that's baking or doing whatever, I mean, there's just too many. I'm going to have to wrap this up in a few. But, I mean, obviously we all know this is all complete junk food. And, of course, even the so-called V8s of the world, right? Concentrate on something else. But I'm not a vegetable. I love this. Oh, so it's not a vegetable. That's funny. Tomatoes. Some people say it's a fruit, right? I can't even tell. I know it has a high dose of solanine. It's considered a nightshade. And so it's not, I try to be really wary of tomatoes because anytime I eat foods that are high and, with the ingredient tomatoes, I get flare-ups, like lupus flare-ups. I'm good with that. So, there's, the nightshade element to it. So it just shows you in some cultures when they really push those tomatoes. Might not be the best thing to have in large quantities. I says, really, it's just... Oh, man, you got pinkies. You got it all, guys. With calcium. Oh, my gosh, that is so... When they say Twinkies, this stuff is so creepy because, they do push a lot of cannibalism. I don't want to, make this where it's, too raw for people, This one's called Awful Bits, free... But they a lot of them, it's you've seen them before. Got your Slim Jams here. It's the snack with smack, punchy. They're real knockouts. So that's weird because it's just like mystery meat. This one brings back memories. Remember the beefaroni? I totally got food poisoned. You can't trust these canned meats, guys. You don't know how old they are. They put chemicals, it was like BHA and all that in the lining. But I remember waking up in the middle of the night after going to bed after eating beefaroni from Chef Boyardee. And I'd never been so sick in my life. I mean, even with, Crest and all that, we can do vids on that because, the whole fluoride fiasco. And so, I mean, I guess they don't even stop with just food, guys. Too interesting, right? Look, Reese's Peepers eye candy. Well, I mean, that is pretty gruesome. So, yeah, this is how things look like because when you got the Sour Patch Kids, because even some of the names of these candies, like when I go to the supermarket, which I'm about to go, so this really made me start thinking, I'm like, yeah, the names that you see is just out of this world. So I keep telling people you are in a certain Alice in Wonderland. I mean, yeah, I'll do a follow-up vid because this is just crazy. Look how many. Look, pop farts. There you go. Smellogs coming at ya. Silent but deadly. Naturally and artificially flavored. Yeah, so when they say that, that can mean anything, guys. That's open for interpretation. We really should use our, God-given intuition to realize when something don't sit right and how things, how they push it. And is this generation any better than the one before because of it? Just look at the diet. A lot of the stuff that we're eating were not what the generation before was even eating. Hawaiian punch, that was getting pushed on my childhood. I was dumb enough to give it to my children. Never again. This stuff is pure poison, guys. Stay away from one of these corporations. A lot of us are trying to make products that are natural, that are safe and effective for people, like really gentle on the body. But no, they want their poison. And then people, I'm going to have to do a vid. Are you a Care Bear or are you a Garbage Pail Kid? Over here, I try to be a Care Bear. But everybody wants their garbage. They treat each other like a damn garbage disposal. And it's just terrible. The pineapples are not safe, guys. For a boring dessert or snack. But just the way that they have like sliced faces and stuff, I mean, that's just kind of strange. There's just so many strange ones. I know I seen more yesterday, but you got, a lot of witchcraft symbolism, conjured cereal. Yeah, because if you didn't know, using drugs and so-called pharmakia is in the Bible called out as sorcery. Using pills, potions, chemically altering the body is witchcraft, is sorcery, is black magic, okay? They always use, different stuff. They got to get in your food. They'll spit in your food. They'll piss in your food. You don't even want to know what's in some of this stuff. I mean, what these people will do, and, don't shoot the messenger. Just because I'm bringing it to light don't mean I condone it or I'm about it. Obviously, I am here saying how wrong it is, and people need to be careful. So, but these cards are definitely very eye-opening, and I haven't seen anybody talk about it. So this is definitely something that I want to put out there so you guys can, look it up. You got your neuter. I don't understand when these New Agers talk about the Eye of Newt. I'm gonna have to look that up, but that term newty is very witchy term. Pebbles, conjured cereal. Watch it disappear. But you got all those weird little green things in the water. What's coming out of Fred's mouth? What kind of tongue is that, right? Crawl out from under a rock and try some. Isn't that funny? Yeah, they want to, because most people are under a rock, asleep to the reality they're really living in, the they live reality. Crunchy and chewy, how can that be? What's in there, really? And they live, we sleep. If you never heard of that reference, you need to watch this movie. Let's see if it already knows what I'm talking about. Because if you haven't, you need to watch it, because this movie will definitely wake you up, and it is popular for having one of the if not the longest fight scene in history, because that's what it feels like to wake people up. And when you put your spiritual glasses on and you start looking all around you guys at all these advertisements and the packaging trying to smile in your face and tell you that, what they had for you is for your safety, for your benefit, especially with a lot of what they're pushing out there right now. They do all these horrendous things, and then they make you think like, oh, they really care about you, right? And when he puts the glasses on, it's like, whoa, he's looking at the world in a whole different way. And yeah, you can be a grown adult and wake up, it can take you that long. And I love the premise of this movie, because it shows it's not about skin color. They're banded together as brothers to fight against the corporate evil, that's going on. And he wakes his buddy up to the deception, and that's what they do. So I love these cards, because it's like looking at the world like this, and looking at these corporations and all your favorite stuff that you were born with and you were raised with it. Just because it was placed in front of you don't mean that it's good for you. Wheaties, which really makes you weak, because that's not a balanced breakfast. That actually will mess you up and make you weak, because if you're all messed up from all these poisons, right, guys, all these chemicals, how are you going to be at your best performance? There's no way. I mean, these funny catnip wafers. Imagine that. Imagine they put catnip in there. That would be nuts. Your kitty will lick and party all night and party every day. God. Got the Cali symbol with the devil horns. I mean, they have a little bit of everything, guys. Even the coal, which we know is bad, you know. But it's just really, really crazy. The Milky Way, you got Cocoa Pops, when they were like, oh, how people were going crazy for these Cocoa Pops, how they were acting in these commercials. But, yeah, too funny. I'm sure they have one for that one, too. Oh, this is the one that was my favorite, because I know somebody who swears by this coffee. Number 3 of 66. Guys, oh, of course it came out when I was born. I love it. In 79. Chock full of nuts and bolts. I'm gonna have to show this person that. Tell him to wake up. Like, good, high quality coffee. Like, then don't do it then. It's like, do it right or don't do it at all. We're gonna have to put a magnet. We're gonna have to do our own home experiment, because yeah, he's totally buying this stuff, and I'm like, listen, not the best coffee, great can for storage when they're done using it, but is it the best for you? I don't think so, guys. So Wacky Packages, and yeah, if I see more interesting ones, I'll definitely put it up. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.